Welcome back, camping legend. Car camping and backcountry camping, most people treat these like two different hobbies. Different gear list, different skill set, different camper altogether. That's not how it works. The sleep system that kept you warm at the pinery will work the same on a solo canoe trip out in Algonquin. The tarp you set up your campsite is the same tarp you set up out in the backcountry. The layering system, the cooking setup, it all crosses over. The adventure doesn't change, you only change how you pack. Today on Camper's Corner, we're going to be breaking down car camping versus backcountry camping, the real pros and cons of each one. And I'm going to tell you exactly who should start where. So let's start with car camping. Car camping gets a bad reputation, and I don't really think it deserves it. Here's what car camping actually gives you: access, comfort, and a zero excuse to go. You drove there, weight's not an issue. You can bring the 2-burner stove, bring the full pot and pan set, bring the folding chair. Nobody's judging you for having too much gear because it's all sitting in your trunk 10 steps away. The site is already there. The fire pit is already there. You're not portaging anything. You just show up and start camping. That's not a bad thing, and that's the whole point. So I've had some of my best trips at the car campsites. One was Pinery Provincial Park this past Easter weekend. It was heavy rain. I actually installed my fly for my tent upside down. That slowed the setup a bit. It was still a great time because car camping is forgiving that backcountry is not. Now the honest cons. The crowds are real. The noise is real. You're camping, but you're also 20 feet from somebody's generator and their kids at 11 p.m. at night. And here's the thing nobody tells the beginners. Each site is different. Not all sites are equal. Some flood in the rain. I know because I've been there. Check your site before you book. Not just the park, the specific site. You might want to go up to, if the park's close enough, to go on a rainy day and do a day trip. Maybe that would help too as well, like a pre-trip before you go on your actual camping trip. As a way to build your system before you go deeper, car camping is a good place to start, and there's no shame in that. Okay, now we're going to get into the backcountry. So this is where people either get hooked for life or decide camping is not for them. Here is what backcountry actually gives you: quiet, space, and the feeling that you actually earn when you paddle into a backcountry site. No road access, no neighbors, no generator at 11 p.m. It feels different. It feels like the place is yours. And for that night, it basically is. That's the thing that nobody can explain until you've done it. The silence hits different when you know you carried everything in yourself.
Might as well sit down and relax.
Now the honest cons, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Everything matters more. Weight matters, planning matters, weather matters more. A mistake that's annoying at a car camping site can become a real problem when you're 2 portages from the nearest road. You need to know where your water's coming from. You need to know your food storage situation, bear hanging, bear barrels, a clean campsite. Leave no trace. That's the golden rule, especially in the backcountry. You need to know your route before you leave to put in. It's not meant to scare you. It's just the real deal for backcountry is less forgiving. And that's actually part of why people love it.
It's me portaging with all my chute.
My first real backcountry canoe trip, I overpacked badly and everything I owned went into that canoe. Was portaging gear I didn't even use. It's a classic mistake. Most people make it once. So yes, the learning curve is steeper. It's not a cliff, it's a slope. View from the top is worth it. So here's where I'm going to tie this together. Because everything I described, car camping, backcountry, it's the same activity. You're sleeping outside, you're cooking outside, you're managing the gear, you're managing the weather, you're managing yourself outdoors. Think about your sleep system. Same sleeping bag, same sleeping pad. The difference is in backcountry, you're choosing it based on weight. In car camping, you're choosing it based on comfort. Same decision, different priority. So think about your shelter. I set up my fly upside down this weekend when I was in that past weekend in the pine. That's a car camping mistake that I'm not going to repeat in the backcountry. So car camping is where you make the cheap mistakes. Think about your food. Car camping, you bring what you want. Backcountry, you plan it by day, plan it by weight, and plan it by calories. But the cooking skills, the same. The camp kitchen habits, the same. My personal philosophy is this. Car camping isn't a lesser version of backcountry. It's the training ground for it. Every car camping trip teaches you what you actually need and what you've been dragging along for no reason. That's why I always say, you don't need a different skill set. You don't need to start over. You just need to change how you pack. The weight goes down and the planning goes up. That's the transition. If you can set up a tarp in the rain in a provincial park, and I have badly, you can set up 2 portages into Algonquin. If you can manage a kitchen at a drive-in campsite, you can manage one in the backcountry. You're just working with less gear, more intention, same adventure. So which one is right for you? I get this question a lot, and my answer is not probably what you're expecting. It depends on one thing. Not your budget, not your gear, and not even your fitness level. It depends on whether you're comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the whole test. If you're new to camping, or if you haven't camped in years, I recommend car camping as a start. I mean that seriously. It's not a consolation prize, it's a strategy. Use it to figure out what you're actually going to cook, or what you might think you're going to cook. Use it to figure out whether you like camping alone, or with people, or with both. Use it to make the cheap mistakes. A forgotten item at a car camping site is a quick drive to the store. The same mistake in the backcountry means you go without. Car camping is where you build your system. Your system is what carries you into the backcountry. So now if you got a few car camping sessions under your belt, and you know your gear, you know your sleep system, you know you can handle a rough night, you don't need to be an expert, you need to be prepared. There's a difference. An expert has done it 100 times. Prepared means you've done your research. You know your route, your gear is dialed in, and you've told someone where you're going. That's the bar. It's not that high. My personal philosophy, that feeling doesn't come until after the first trip. The trip you actually take matters more than the one you're waiting for. Start where you are, go with what you have, and upgrade as you go. And if you're somewhere in the middle, if you've done a few car camping trips and you're curious about backcountry and you're not sure if you're ready, the crossover zone I talked about, that's exactly where this channel lives. That's what Papa Camp Outdoors is about. Practical, repeatable adventures, starting accessible, going deeper.